Happy Saturday, family. Lagutta Gang will know, those of you who were in Audra at Home's live maybe an hour and a half ago, was this close to not doing this. Today has been a wild day in Los Angeles and the craziness continues. I can still hear choppers circling overhead right now. I can hear sirens occasionally. We have a whole ass curfew tonight because fascism. To those of you who don't know, there was a pretty big Black Lives Matter protest, obviously sparked by the murder of George Floyd, right off the heels of Breonna and Ahmaud. Went out in the Beverly Fairfax area, if you're familiar at all with LA. Hey everyone, hey Kelly, hey Natural Butterfly, hey Michaela, hey Audra. What's up, fam? Sade. Rami's here. What's up, Rami? Caffeine and sarcasm. I'm actually glad now. I'm glad to see so much of the family is here. And welcome to everyone if it's your first live. I've been doing these every week, except for maybe 1 or 2 weeks I missed because I was grieving since quarantine started. But I also went live last night and I wasn't sure if I had it in me to do another one. As much as I love talking to you guys, especially in real time, as opposed to with a regular video, I like the instant feedback and the in the momentness, I guess, of it, the spontaneity. It's also been a very draining month for me as a whole, just as a Black person in America. And I feel that that's been the case for a lot of people based on the protests we've been seeing in various cities. The one that is still kind of dwindling here in LA because I'm still seeing choppers in the sky. The protests today, hey Brown Girl Bella, I'm holding up. I appreciate you for asking. Hey Alicia, Kinky Sweat in the house. The protests today, I don't know what y'all will have seen on CNN and whatnot because I don't have channels, but they're probably telling you that the protesters were violent. That is not true. The protests today turned violent because of LAPD and only because of them. I saw the whole thing streaming live on Kendrick Sampson's Instagram Live. Kendrick Sampson is an actor. If you watch Insecure, he plays Nate, but he's also really big on using his platform to do social media activism. Thank you, Kathy. That's sweet. I'm safe and sound. And he was live streaming at the protest today, so I saw this with my own eyes. LAPD was the one being aggressive, okay? Not the protesters. And they also, for the record, we saw this happen in Minneapolis too. LAPD had undercover officers in the protests who were throwing things, throwing water bottles at LAPD. These were undercover officers doing this, trying to incite the protesters, trying to incite the crowd. And then when one of the protest leaders pointed this out and said, these people throwing things, this is not us, these are not people from our movement doing this, he was arrested after pointing that out. Yeah. They were bringing out the rubber bullets, everything, Daylin, and thank you for the super chat. None of this, by the way, none of the fact that LAPD was the one inciting violence, LAPD was the aggressor, none of this stopped CNN from saying that it was the protesters who were the ones inciting the violence. CNN, mainstream media, they're just another cog in this machine. This is why I don't even have channels. I don't fuck with mainstream media at all because this is what you get. I saw with my own eyes LAPD shoving and beating peaceful protesters, including women today. Kendrick, the actor, he was shot 4 times with rubber bullets. Calm down, with rubber bullets, but still very painful, unnecessary, violent. And he was hit with a billy club. Thank you, D. Willie. Yeah, the instant the police showed up, the entire energy of the protest changed because it was peaceful until the police arrived and turned it into violence. Kendrick's assistant was actually beaten so bad by LAPD that his shin was busted open to the point of bone being exposed. I believe he's currently getting medical treatment, like in this very moment. And funny enough, since this was all going down, or at least being broadcast on Instagram Live, I believe at our peak, there were probably 5,600 of us watching this happen. Instagram Live was repeatedly trying to suppress, so the live streams were consistently being throttled and paused so that he would have to start over, so that the video would be deleted. But luckily, a lot of people were screen recording, and he was able to save some, so we could actually see what was happening and have a record of it, and have this document of LAPD being the inciters of violence. I had a friend who went to the protest. I ended up hanging back for my own safety because I know what it is with LAPD. I've lived here long enough. My friends got out of there just when things were becoming violent because of the LAPD presence. And like I said, the whole energy at the protest changed when LAPD showed up with freaking riot gear for a peaceful protest. One of my friends who did go today is a white male, blonde and blue, top of the privilege hierarchy as it exists here in these United States. Thank you, Will. Yep. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of NYPD is also busting out the pepper spray, tear gas, all of it. My other friend who went today is half Asian, half white, which means that she's basically just Asian, thanks to the one drop mentality. I know we talk about that with people who are biracial and black. Works if you're Asian too, okay? They went to this protest. I did not, for my own safety. And we talk about this stuff all the time. We in our circle of friends, we're probably the only ones, because as I've told you guys, a lot of my friendship circle is largely white people because I have gone to predominantly white institutions for my schooling, and I'm in a very, very white industry because I'm in show business. So a lot of my friends are white, and most of them have nothing to say about any of this. Thank you, Malik. Yeah. I touched on that a bit last night, and I don't want to say anything too direct in regard to that, Malik, but I will say I mean, you can see videos of me from years ago where like I would sort of hint at being a little bit more in line with Malcolm than with Martin, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Dark Energy. But I talk about these issues of really just needing to burn it all down, quite honestly. Like, we talk about this all the time. This is not their first time protesting at events like this. This is not either of their first time standing up for people who are more marginalized than they are. In fact, B, the male who's blonde and blue and white, he's aware of his privilege so much that he realizes that his life isn't in danger in the same sense that mine is, in that really tangible sense, by going to these protests, whereas my life and the lives of people who look like me absolutely are. And the fact is, that's why he goes. That's why they go. Bottom line is, LAPD isn't going to do him like they're going to do me. They're not. And it's critical to have allies like this and who use their privilege accordingly. I have gotten at least a half dozen wellness check texts and messages from my white friends in the past 12 hours, at least. You okay? How are you holding up? I don't even know how many I've gotten in total in the past several weeks. And all these messages are well-intentioned. I realize that, but you know what they say about good intentions and the road to hell. This is not activism. It's not. It's not really doing much at all in the big picture. Texting me to say that you feel bad and that our country sucks isn't doing anything except helping you to absolve yourself of feeling like you're part of the problem. It's better than my friends who have said nothing, many of whom are literally being cut out of my life. So it's great that you're checking on me, but that cannot be the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, checking on me is not activism. That can't be like, I did it. I'm not racist now. Reposting a picture of George Floyd and hashtagging Black Lives Matter, that is not activism. That is about making you feel better, not me. I know Black Lives Matter. So to quote my girl Marina, I talked about her last night. She's the global Black girl on IG, and I linked her again in the D box. She said this in an IG video. She did, IGTV, they have that now. I watched one of her videos today. And she was saying, like, who are you telling when you say Black Lives Matter? We know our lives matter. And I'm not going to sit here begging and pleading for y'all racist white and brown people to recognize that. I'm not doing it. Racists love to say that they have Black friends and they hold up their Black acquaintances as props, as evidence that they cannot possibly be racist because they have a Black friend. What I've learned over the course of my life is that for a lot of the white people in my life, I'm the friend. The Black friend is me. Sending your Black friend a message to say that you're outraged, that's about you. Sending a message to say that our country sucks, that's about you. We know. And it's not my job to make you feel better about how you participate in and benefit from racism. Thank you, Elena. Ooh, pound sterling. The system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. That protest today, they were trying to prevent them from marching toward Beverly Hills where all the rich white people live. That's why the cops showed up. They were like, you're not going to Beverly Hills. To quote something Ijama Oluo said today, she said, "Don't make us swim through your tears while we fight." Again, it is not my job to make you feel better about how you benefit from racism and how you participate in it. When you unload, "Oh, this is so awful. I can't believe this. This is unbelievable." First of all, you're invalidating our reality. Unbelievable? Who you telling? We've been living with this for fucking centuries. Thank you, Woman Noir. So all you're doing is burdening us with your own guilt and grief. We have our own grief to deal with. We're living this shit. Being an ally is not a passive thing. Being an ally is not texting your Black friend and then patting yourself on the back about it. That is the least you can do. That's step one. If you want to help, if you want to be a real ally, stop telling me that racism is bad. Tell your racist ass family members. Confront your racist ass friends. Be willing to have uncomfortable, difficult conversations in the moment, immediately. Don't be like, there he goes again. Uncle Willie, he's old fashioned. He's racist, and confront him about it. I can't do this for you. If you want to be a real ally, support a Black business. Give money to organizations run by Black people for Black people. Call your representatives, and then call them again, and then call them again. Support the work of Black people. If you have it in you, protest. I know it's not for everyone, but if you've got it, if you've got that spirit, protest and protect Black people at protests. It was legitimately terrifying to watch the violence of LAPD going down in real time today on Instagram. But it also made my heart really full to see white people at the protest using their privilege, physically putting themselves between violent police and Black protesters. That is a fucking ally. That is how you use your privilege. We saw it with these armed white folks, armed to the teeth white people storming state buildings to protest not being able to go to the mall. They were left the hell alone. Thank you, Destiny. Oh, the onion. Thank you, Marissa. Yes, thank you. We can't give ourselves these rights. It's like women's suffrage couldn't happen without male allies. This is the same thing. The complaints that these people, the white people who were showing up at state buildings with guns and shit, they were validated by Drumpf. He called them very good people. No surprise there, since he's used the same language to describe literal. I'm not going to say it because I'm already dropping a lot of F-bombs, and I feel like that word is especially going to trigger the demonetization. Meanwhile, when we protest, even peacefully, we're thugs, and they roll up on us armed and throwing tear gas. When you use your white privilege to shine a light on the fact that ain't no way LAPD is going to kill you, white man, or that they're going to kill you, white woman, in the street, whereas they'd kill me in a fucking heartbeat, That is how you can be an ally. That is how you can help. Marching ain't for everyone, obviously. I get that because I already told y'all I do not fuck with LAPD. I've lived here long enough that that fear is so ingrained in me. If I am driving down a road and I see a cop car for more than a block, I switch to a different road. That's how afraid I am of LAPD. I'm not exaggerating. I will literally just find a different way to go if I am riding on the same road as a cop car for more than a block. It makes me that uneasy. But if you're not down to march, there are several other ways that you can be an ally that I have already listed, none of which are through texting me that what happened to George and Brianna and Ahmad is unbelievable or that it really sucks. I appreciate your concern. I hope this isn't all you're doing because that ain't shit, honestly. At the end of the day, thank you for being concerned about me as your Black friend, but that ain't it. Well, Blythe 35, I saw something about they've now made some order where if you're crossing state lines to protest, that's criminal activity or something. I can't even fully remember because it's been a hectic day. Just a lot of emotional things to process, but they're definitely verging on just being martial law, frankly. Like, I mean, that's where things are heading. I'm seeing military force being used against protesters. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Jade Fawcett. Oh, yes, Allegra. Some official, I can't remember exactly who it was from the Department of Justice, I believe. They have made it illegal to cross state lines to protest. And I believe I haven't vetted this, so don't take my word for it. I need to do research after this live. And I'm going to keep this live short because, like I said, it's been an extremely harrowing, high stress day. And like I almost didn't do this live at all. So I'm probably going to jump after like half an hour. But I also saw that supposedly the Supreme Court just redefined what is an illegal gathering. Just more fascism. Thank you, Chris or Eric. That's a funny name. The least we whites can do is echo repost. Yes, that is literally the least you should do. It's funny. I don't want to dwell on this because it was such a moronic comment, but someone sent a super chat last night where I was talking about these exact same issues because, I mean, what else is there on my mind right now? And it's just like, you're too beautiful to be this angry. It's just like, first of all, I thought we left negging in 2010. Second of all, why aren't you angry? If you're not angry about George and Ahmad and Brianna and all the other names, I mean, we can keep going for I don't even know how long with names on names on names, justice for fill-in name hashtags going back years and years and years. If you are not angry, you are part of the problem. And more accurately, if you're not angry, you're fucking racist. Act like Barbara, FTP. FTP. Makeup or breakup blog. There is an entire movement called Stop Telling Women to Smile. You should follow them on Instagram. I'm fucking over it. Stop telling women to smile. Stop telling women you're so beautiful you don't need makeup. We're done with that. Stop policing how I choose to present myself. Cleo, I love this. You're doing what you can. You know what I'm saying? That is way more than a lot of the people I'm seeing who want to be Twitter activists and who think posting a hashtag is the extent of what they need to do to actually be an ally. That is the bare minimum. It is slightly more respectful than doing jack shit. Brown Girl Bella, thank you for reminding me about the National Blackout Day. Is that July 7th? I think it's July 7th. Personally, I've kind of been doing that to the greatest extent that I can, just through lifestyle changes that I've made over the past several weeks. Like, I've been doing an Amazon blackout, which means also a Whole Foods blackout, really trying to focus on supporting only small and Black businesses as much as possible. I really need to find like a small independent grocery store. I mean, all this shit's going to cost me more money to do, because there's a reason that people shop at places like Walmart and Target. And to an extent, I have to do that too, because my budget is my budget. So I'm still going to be getting, my sundries and things from the drugstore. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to be using my regular friggin' Dove bar soap because it's cheap and it's what I can afford. However, I am being super mindful about how I spend my money on things overall day to day. And with this national blackout, that only works if everyone does it. I've heard of things and attempts for things like that happening before. Yes, July 7th. Thank you. I've heard about attempts for things like this happening before. I don't know how successful they are, because this is going to sound harsh, but there's always so much coonery with that shit, where people be like, sounds like that's the best day to go to Gucci, girl. Like, there's going to be that kind of fuckery. But Imagine what we could do if we actually worked together in a real way. Imagine if we only supported one another and not Jeff Bezos and these other clowns. Imagine if we actually committed to that instead of just giving it lip service, or instead of fetishizing capitalists and being like, hustle, hustle. I work 25/8, no days off. Instead of glorifying these people who literally built their wealth through exploiting people who have no other choice. Oh, thank you, Kelly. You're so sweet. We outnumber them by so much, and it frustrates me that we're still losing. There's no reason for us to be losing. If we actually work together, this could have been over years ago. Burn it all down. Rami, you need to stop. I completely agree. Yes, put your money where your mouth is. And thank you, Blythea 35. Audra, I think I heard about that TikTok black. I'm not on TikTok, but yeah, I don't really know too much about that. I mean, like I said earlier, support the work of Black people, and even if that work is TikTok creation, content creation, it helps. I mean, again, that ain't activism, but it's better than nothing. Jade Fawcett, I do not. I need to do some vetting on that, because I'm very, very careful about which charities I support, because a lot of them, like even ones that are the ones you've heard of, like American Red Cross, like, don't. The way they actually divert their funds, you don't do it. It takes a pretty decent amount of research to and there's websites that do this, that do a lot of that legwork for you. One is Charity Watch, one is Charity Radar, I believe. I talked about this not too long ago on a video, and someone was really awesome and left a comment listing some good ones, and I pinned it, but I can't remember what video that was, unfortunately. But I plan to, I just haven't done the research yet, because honestly, there's just so much emotional work I'm doing right now with the back-to-back-to-back nature of everything that's happened over the course of May has been a trash month in an already trash year. I'll put it that way. Thank you, Darth Impact. Good for you guys. Again, strength in numbers. Because you guys were unified in telling them hell no. The end. I'm telling you guys, if we just worked together, this could have been over ages ago. I agree, Cassandra. I kind of have been doing the same thing now that you mention it. Like, I just PayPal other creators or people who I see, who I just can briefly vet myself rather easily through social media. Even today, the funky academic, I've talked about him before, Irami Ose Fringpong, shot the brother some PayPal dough. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to keep these dollars in the communities that I want to keep them in as much as possible, and trying to stem the flow of that money upward to the Jeff Bezos of the world. I'm really trying to limit how much I do that. Amazon has honestly been easy for me to cut out. If you think it's difficult, then then your life has been far too easy. If you think it's too hard to stop shopping at Amazon, you've never faced actual adversity. Yeah. And Cleo, that's exactly right. I mean, if you want to help, if you want to be an ally, look out for your Black friends, send them a meal. You know, is you okay? Is you good? Again, the least you can do. Support. Thank you, William. Yes. And that's so true. I mean, not only working in your community, but voting in the local elections, even the little ones, those down ballot initiatives and positions, those matter far more than you think they do. It's not just voting for president. In fact, voting for those down ballot people, that often matters far more for your day to day, because eventually those people are going to move up on the ballot and they'll have more influence. And if we're careful about vetting the right people and getting out the Nancy Pelosi's, let's get Batar in there, please. Thank you, professional alias. TikTok banned Black Lives Matter. Even happier, I never downloaded that piece of shit. Good to know. Thank you, S. Akintorin. Thank you, Dalen. Yes, I am with you. I was so close to going to that protest today because I'm very much in an anger phase with my feelings about everything that's happened right now. I'm not so much in a sadness phase, I'm in an anger phase. And my worry was just that I told you guys last night, I respond with the same energy that I'm given. So if I were face to face with LAPD, I'm the type of bitch who'd be like, well, I'm going to have to die today. I've honestly confronted myself about this fairly candidly. I can't believe I'm even about to say this, but maybe 2 months ago, as I've gotten more and more into talking about these things publicly and realizing that even by discussing these things in a public forum like such as YouTube, I am putting myself at risk. One of the things that protects me is visibility. So frankly, the more eyes on me that I have, that actually gives me more protection. Okay. But at the end of the day, if something is going to happen to me, am I okay with that? Am I willing to die for this? And I just had this moment of clarity where I was like, yeah, I don't feel like the work that I want to do is done. So I'm being very careful about how I put myself in positions that might be dangerous to myself. But I believe the things that I believe in. And I am willing to make the sacrifices that I need to. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, Arthur Fletcher. Oh, thank you, Tammy. You're too sweet. You're already on my Patreon, fam. You don't need to be sending me super chats. Thank you, Rand K. Yes. Yeah. And not to mention, just oftentimes in these conversations about racism, how a lot of times non-people of color and white people want to be the gatekeepers of what is and is not racist. Like they want to tell us what is and isn't racist. Until you live in this skin, you don't know how it feels to have the experiences that we have. Understanding, or at least attempting to understand, is important, but you will never have full clarity. Thank you, Investigator 86. Thank you, Hudson River Native. Okay, I never even thought about that correlation, but yeah, even just registering to vote makes it so there's more Black people on juries. I've never even known that. Thank you, Vanessa Elliott. Wichita, Kansas had a peaceful protest today with support from Wichita State University. I guess that's what that is, WSU. Mayor Whipple and police. Yeah. Yeah, the work is far from done. Far from it. Oh, is Bethany here? What's up, Bethany? Oh, hey, Phil. Um, I'm not a makeup artist, not by any stretch of the imagination, Phil Cook. I just enjoy it. It's one of my creative outlets. I don't really have any actual skills. All of my skills are in a creative arena of some sort. I mean, I'm a writer director as my career. I do this YouTube thing on the side, which has become a bit of a social justice platform, which I wouldn't have any other way. I really emmed and erred about even beginning to speak about these things, but now I wouldn't. Best decision I ever made, because it's brought me so much more fulfillment, and I feel like that's my purpose in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm not really changing the world or anything, but hopefully I can at least change a mind or two, and that's enough for me. Thank you, Cece. You keep telling me to check out this Blacksit channel. I'm not going to forget. I just haven't had a chance to yet. Janessa, thank you for the super chats. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's interesting because Stonewall was not exactly peaceful. I mean, that was police violence against LGBTQ protesters. Sure got the movement going, though, didn't it? So this idea that, like, if y'all are more worried about protecting Target than protecting Black lives, you are the enemy. The end. Thank you, Haley. Yeah, I really think it is as simple as that. Policing people's grief, criminalizing people's grief. How dare you? Don't tell us how to feel. You have no idea what this is like. So exactly, just support, stop trying to talk over us, period. Thank you, Mrs. E. Thank you for being you. Brown Girl Bella, we are always on an island of our own. It's a completely different thing. It hits completely differently when my Black internet cousins have reached out to me to say, how are you holding up? It's a completely different thing because it's the same words, how you holding up, the same 4 words. It's a completely different thing because the experience is shared. It's almost like we don't need the words, but there's this sort of self-aggrandizing tone with some of the messages, not all, because again, I know some of my friends really are genuinely concerned about me, but looking out for your one Black friend ain't activism. Thank you, Destiny. Highlighting the riots and looting is entirely self-serving. Look at my moral compass. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I already talked about how I felt about the looting last night, so I'm not even going to go down beating that drum again. Thank you, Just Be You, Ty. Yes, this is actually perfect because this is more or less what I said last night, but more eloquently. Looting is what you do. We learned it from you. We learned violence from you. So if you want us to do better, then damn it, you do better. Exactly. Thank you, Carrie Fox. Thank you, Lysandra Crockett. All right, y'all. I am actually going to wrap it up. We got a curfew tonight. If I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed, like if my nerves calm down, I may go ahead and do another hip hop playlist with you guys. I might do Stank Face Bangers Volume 2 for those of you on Instagram. If you guys just want to hang out and smile and take our minds off things a little bit more heavy for a little while, I might do that tonight. I would have to make the playlist because I haven't even put that together yet. Thank you, Akila. No, I have not seen that video, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Thank you, Brennet Krikorian, for the super chat as well. I'm going to get out of here. The dog has had her dinner, but I have not. She's got the itis. She's passed out on the couch. I'm going to eat. Maybe I'm going to go live on IG. Just keep an eye on my stories to see if I do. Shut the fuck up. To see if I go live. Okay. To see if I go live on Instagram tonight. We're not talking about heavy shit. This is about being together, enjoying music, taking our mind off things, dancing, putting on our imaginary Tims and stomping around to some good hip hop, if I do it. So keep an eye on my stories. I'll decide in the next half an hour or so, and I'll let you guys know what time I'll be going live if I do it. If not, some other time, because I still definitely want to do that because it was super fun last time. And I thank you to everyone who joined me for Stank Face Bangers Volume 1. Thank you, Laura Murden. I am not changing the world. This is just a YouTube channel. I was reading your comment with Whitney, Diggable Planet, Three Birth is Slick. That's a good one. Thank you, Ms. J. And thank you, Whitney, for the super chat. Thank you, Ms. J. Yeah, everything feels heavy right now. It really does. I've been super grateful for the communities that I'm a part of here on YouTube and whatnot, but I kind of just don't want to talk about this anymore today. I've been talking and talking and talking, honestly, my whole life, just not publicly on YouTube and whatnot. And especially this past month, it's just been relentless. So I think I would like to take my mind off things. It's Saturday night. We could do Club Quarantine, perhaps, on Instagram. So if you guys are on IG, I've already linked mine below. Check my stories. I'll let you guys know in the next half hour or so if I'm going to do it. If not, then I'm just going to be resting and being quiet and maybe reading a book. But thank you, everyone who let me vent a little bit. Hopefully I gave you guys some concrete, actionable ideas on how to actually be an ally. It is more than texting your one Black friend, "Is you okay?" Beyond that, I got nothing else for you. So thank you for the super chats. Thank you for everyone who just participated in the regular chat. I love you all. Y'all make me strong. Y'all make me brave. Never trust anyone with a Morphe code.